Okay, here we are in a blank Nuke Stage session. If you're familiar with Nuke and other Foundry products like Katana, this UI will look familiar to you. If this is your first time in a Foundry product, let's take a quick tour around. On the top, we have workspace tabs to switch to more convenient or saved layouts. The first tab we see is the Setup workspace, which is the default startup workspace. And then we have Scene, Comp and Sequence. All of these workspaces are fully customizable. Underneath, we have the main 3D viewport area, which will act as a virtual representation of our LED volume, and we will be able to view or manipulate our USD scenes here. Next to the viewport tab, we also have the image editor, which is our 2D viewer similar to Nuke's compositing viewer. To the right, we have a project graph area, which allows us to control our project properties and settings. And at the bottom of the screen, we have the properties and network panels, which we covered in the Nuke Stage launcher video. Now, if we switch the workspaces, we start to introduce other panels that are relevant to the operation of that workspace. With the Scene tab, we have the Scene graph on the left, which allows us to manipulate the USD data in the viewport. The Comp tab introduces the Node graph and Grade tabs at the bottom of the screen, and this is where you'll be able to do some of the same tasks that you can do in Nuke using the familiar nodes to manipulate your images. When you start your project in the Setup workspace, you'll want to configure your project graph with the correct settings in Nuke Stage to replicate your LED volume in the viewport. So walking down the project graph after we set up our network settings, we then need to assign our hardware for each render node. We need to define the physical displays in Nuke Stage to match the LED volume position for camera tracking accuracy. You can adjust the display attributes in the Properties panel to match position. You can also specify projection types, planar or cylinder, or import a custom stage that has already been created and used in your other virtual production applications. Then we can set our output mapping to the display by assigning the correct render node, and define two cameras, one for the inner active projection area and other for the outer environment projection. Keep in mind the outer environment camera will be displaying a larger image, so you may need to manually adjust the resolution to get it to look sharper. You can also assign what tracking type system is being used here for either or both cameras. As a quick exercise, we'll create a node graph for this display card, add a green constant, some blue markers and an output. We can view the output from the bottom right drop down in the image viewer. First, let's switch to our viewport and select our scene in the project graph. Open the display override, add an override and point it to an output texture, then add the display. Then in the hardware item of our project graph, if we select the displays and look for our output mapping, we can then map our output 1 to display, and in the application field, select our render node to see the image of our display. Once you've set this up, you can import and export this package into other project files, so you only need to do this process once. One more thing to add when importing or opening a Nuke Stage project, your new project tab will open with an orange underline by default. If you double click that tab, that line will turn green, making it active. Then you can update the relays and render nodes for the new active project and assign the render nodes to the display output in the project graph. That's a brief overview for the Nuke Stage UI. Now let's start the project from zero and walk through how we get a scene up and running.